Rocketeer is a 1991 film directed by Joe Johnston. It stars Bill Campbell, Jennifer Connelly, Timothy Dalton, and Alan Arkin. The film was an adaptation of the comic book of the same name, created by writer and artist Dave Stevens in 1982. He was inspired by the pulp stories of the early age of comic books. In this video, I'll be reviewing the story, themes, and characters of 1991's The Rocketeer. The story is set in 1938 in Los Angeles, California. This setting honors the pulp inspiration of the source material, while also borrowing from the LA noir genre by having Hollywood and organized crime be key elements in the story. There was obvious detail and effort put into the setting, character, and overall story that made the audience feel immersed in this world. The main protagonist is Cliff Secord, a stunt pilot with not much to his name. He does have a chance at achieving his dreams, but that is ultimately shot down during a police chase. The FBI are on the search for stolen property from Howard Hughes. It was stolen by local gangster Eddie Valentine, who was hired by Hollywood elite famous star Neville Sinclair, the main antagonist of the story. I like the kind of relationship that Neville Sinclair and Eddie Valentine have. Valentine keeps his integrity as a mob boss, while Sinclair keeps a form of superiority and arrogance, which could be a reason why he joined a certain political party. Cliff and his friend/engineer Peavy discover the stolen property. It's a rocket pack. Having their career just hit with a massive setback, Cliff sees an opportunity at a second chance. While Peavy remains hesitant throughout the entire movie as to not wanting to be involved with the rocket pack, as he knows the authorities and criminals are after it. Peavy tries to be a voice of reason, but is ultimately complicit in Cliff's journey to find success again. Cliff's love interest is Jenny Blake, an aspiring actress with also not much to show for it. Often casted as an extra, even currently an extra in Neville Sinclair's movie, where Sinclair learns that Cliff has the rocket pack. Cliff and Jenny's love story is rather classic. Jenny feels like she wants more from life, feeling like her and Cliff have entered a routine of middle-class regularity, while Cliff feels comfortable where he is, but he does share the sense that there is more that they could be reaching, and that she does deserve more, and he needs to find ways to give her what she deserves, which is why he keeps the rocket pack, feeling that this is an opportunity to fulfill her needs and fulfill his own dreams as well. This pursuit of monetary gain and momentary fame is never really explored that much. Only a short section of the movie promises that Cliff's alter ego, the Rocketeer, will be a massive celebrity, but we never really see that expanded on. He's never tested of being a celebrity or being a hero. He immediately shows that the Rocketeer is a superhero. The movie moves rather quickly, not rushed, but I feel like some ideas weren't given enough time to fully develop. Cliff's character arc is supposedly being a selfish person by keeping the rocket and endangering everyone he knows and cares about, to being a selfless hero who trades the rocket to save Jenny. The arc is well executed, but I just don't really feel that Cliff is all that selfish. He does decide to keep the rocket despite numerous warnings from Peavy and the FBI and even Howard Hughes. And his friends and Jenny are put into danger, even Peavy's house getting shot up by the FBI after he was attacked by Sinclair's henchman, Lothar, who has a terrifying character design that gave me nightmares as a kid. There wasn't really enough time to really feel that danger and selfishness. I think it would have strengthened Cliff's character if he would have had a taste of what kind of success that the rocket can bring him, instead of the idea of what kind of success that the rocket can bring him. That way the sacrifice at the end would have had more weight to it. They even could have tied his self-value to the rocket, feeling that without it he can't afford the kind of life that he thinks that Jenny wants, and then learning that Jenny doesn't need all that, she just needs him. The origin of the rocket is linked to the ever-growing threat of Nazi Germany. The rocket was planned to be used as a war machine by the US government, who hired Howard Hughes to develop it. They acted on evidence that Nazi Germany were doing the same, with plans to invade America. Not the best plan, just flying over the Atlantic on rocket packs. At most, the East Coast would just have to deal with a lot of dead Nazis washing up on their shores. It is Jenny that finds out that Sinclair is actually working for the Nazis. There's no real reason given as to why he's a Nazi, but I guess, Nazis in Hollywood, it's not that hard to believe, to be honest. Speaking of Sinclair, Timothy Dalton does an excellent performance. He perfectly captures the kind of arrogance and eliteness of an actor of the golden age of Hollywood. His character is egotistical, which puts him at odds even with his fellow antagonists. His charm and dashingness and social status puts him at the opposite end of the spectrum from Cliff. This is another idea I feel could have been explored more. Sinclair has the means to deliver on Jenny's dream of living a high-class life of a Hollywood elite. Sinclair seduces her into going on a date with him to the Seven Seas Club after Cliff accidentally gets her in trouble on set, and they kinda have a breakup. But the only reason he does this is to get information on Cliff so he can get to the rocket. While on the date, she does have a sense that this isn't what she wants, and that she really does love Cliff for what he is. But I still feel that this tension caused by Sinclair between Jenny and Cliff could have been expanded on more, and really developed over the course of the movie, rather than just a few scenes near the end. Despite my wanting of more, I still think that this movie is really good. It's a fun watch, and it evokes the kind of timelessness that comes from these pulp stories. It was well acted, well written. The dialogue really feels of that time, which I think really adds to the world building. And with some of the flying executed through stop motion and practical effects, it really felt like an old school superhero movie, like Superman 78, where you can kind of feel that, yes, this is done on wires, but there's a sense of wonder to it that I think they really captured. The film was produced by Disney, so you can find it on Disney+. It was originally supposed to be produced by Touchstone, which is was a branch of Disney that produced more mature media. Having it be produced by Disney, there was some alterations made from the source material, but I don't think this really takes away from it. I did some research on the comic book, but I've never been able to read it. But if you're a fan of the comic book, please let me know your opinion on the movie. There are plans for a sequel at Disney Plus, with David Oyelowo producing and possibly starring as the title character. Not much is known about the story, but what is known is that it involves a Tuskegee airman that retired in America taking up the mantle of Rocketeer. I think that's a very cool concept, and it'll be interesting to see what they develop from it. I grew up with watching the Rocketeer, so it'll be nice knowing that a new generation will be able to as well. That was my review for 1991's Rocketeer. Thank you for watching.